knowing that they needed a certain level of comfort to hear these types of descriptions. It was very emotional and really tough to hear, bro.
Is there any message for the alleged victims? Do you believe you apologize on behalf of your father? Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still convince your father's innocent?
In less than an hour, the three Combs sisters, who had initially attended the trial to provide emotional support for their father, stood up, embraced tightly, and sobbed as they walked out of the courthouse. What was on the video that Diddy's own daughters were unable to view?
The most important piece of evidence because it sets the stage when we're talking about coercion or force.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
All the video is important evidence, according to the prosecutor, exposing a network of charges against Diddy and family secrets. When Cassie played a previously unreleased film purportedly capturing footage from a heated argument that had the secret to the accusations against Diddy, the courtroom in Manhattan federal court remained silent before the trial began. Delilah frantically shielded her twin sister Jessie Chance's and Justin's eyes from the screen just minutes after the video began, but they couldn't take their eyes off it when a familiar woman's visage showed. Officially, this was accepted as proof, and the Combs family members' eyes brightened as though they realized they were going to have to deal with something that could not be changed. Porter and Kim.
On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids...
It's still unclear what was captured in that video and why the 3 of them turned and ran away during their first visit to help Diddy. The audience's whispers spread swiftly, like a wave of sound rising in the quiet courtroom, and then everyone departed without a word.
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Prosecutor Rachel Harper.
She began. A middle-aged woman with silver hair pulled back and thin-rimmed glasses stepped up from the prosecution's table. Her name was Rachel Harper. Her voice, like the steady beat of a drum announcing a significant event, was commanding but deliberate. With a straight gaze on Cassie, she requested that the court explain what had happened. Alex sat nearby, and Cassie took a deep breath. "Your part in those incidents." His unwavering gaze served as a fulcrum, and she pursed her lips before responding in a serious, quiet voice that sounded as if each word had been thought out. In anticipation of her answer, the courtroom appeared to hold its breath.
In 2005, I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom. It was...
After we began dating for almost a year, he introduced me to the person he called the Freak Out. To me, it seemed like an unwaking nightmare, but he said it was a chance to unwind and discover new limits. She hesitated, her eyes moving over the jury as though to ensure they saw the gravity of what she was going to disclose.
Is a freak off The freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs.
He liked to watch me with other people, Cassie said, her voice shaking as she recalled the painful memories. But it wasn't just watching. He dictated everything. What I wore, how the room was lit, what acts were performed, even the amount of baby oil we had to apply so he could have complete control over the freak-offs. Cassie described the freak-offs as meticulously planned events that Diddy put together and referred to as voyeurism. He would smile at the way our bodies shone. Her gaze was fixed on the jurors, and she was speaking more intently as she explained that Diddy had forced her to purchase a couple of outfits from specialty shops and that he would personally choose which of them she would have to wear. If I disagreed, he would intimidate me, making me feel trapped and powerless.
Relationship goes if it's something that you didn't want to share and it's your secret, it's your secret. I do believe in karma.
Freakouts, according to Cassie, were often 36 to 72 hours long, and they were not simply brief occurrences. In a shaky voice, she described the extreme exhaustion she and other participants went through, stating, "One time a freak-off stretched for days. They happened weekly like a mandatory part of my life." She described her coerced participation in organizing these events, stating that I had to find people through both Craigslist and professional services. I prepared their journey to places like Miami, my eyes down as if embarrassed by her actions. Diddy not only controlled the participants but also the environments where the freak-offs took place, Cassie revealed. At first, candles created a false sense of romance, he told her, directing the room's illumination. Later, he shifted to stage lights designed by professionals, as if we were performing in a film of which he was the sole director. She described how Diddy meticulously organized every element of the show, including the specific acts he wanted to witness and the movements of the players. In an attempt to put everyone at ease, he even insisted on ingesting illegal narcotics. Her tone was raspy as she stated, "I remember once before a freakout I had to text him to ask which pill I should take from your bag, and he replied, telling me exactly which one."
Each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was a matter
with a keen eye and well-groomed brown hair. Samantha Klein, Cassie's attorney, came up and requested that a video be shown, marking the end of the trial. Klein's voice echoed loudly as she began. "Your Honor, we request permission to present evidence of a freak-off from 2018 labeled as the White Party Archive." The courtroom held its breath, with all eyes focused on the enormous screen in the corner as it flickered vividly. The opulent coastal mansion in the first picture included neon lights that pulsed through the night, palm trees that swayed in the breeze, and humans that moved in a frenzied blur while electronic music thumped in laughter. Misty sounds. The movie revealed the glamorous side of Diddy's infamous white parties, where executives, celebrities, and models congregated to live affluent lives. Famous faces: a pop star with platinum-dyed hair, a model in a sparkling attire, and a businessman in a white suit all appeared to be engaged in unethical behavior and other compromising behaviors, including the use of illegal narcotics. Cassie, who was on the witness stand, continued by explaining how she was involved in the repressive environment of the video, which appeared to be a world where power and want were important and all rules had been erased. "I wasn't just a participant," she told the freaks, her eyes unwavering but showing a trace of pain. "Keep those involved under control." She revealed that Diddy frequently recorded the freak-offs and accomplished them. "I worked under his direction, but I didn't want to. I was afraid that if I refused, he would release compromising videos of me. I was forced to organize everything from recruiting people to ensuring they arrived at the right place at the right time." She shook her voice and stated, "He said those videos were his insurance. If I didn't comply with his wishes, he would release them to the public, destroying my life and reputation."
And in her words, she didn't want to do it, but she felt like she had to do it.
So difficult to hear all of these details.
The scene appeared on the television, and the courtroom came to a halt. Sitting on a couch, it featured a woman with a startlingly clear face and vacant eyes, as though she was unaware that she was being filmed. While Kim Porter, The late mother of Delilah and Jesse Chance covered her mouth in the front row, her trembling hands displaying her fear. The twins, Jesse and Delilah, who had tried to put up a show of strength, sat still, their faces as pale as wax. A mixture of terror, agony, and inexplicable treachery caused their eyes to dart toward Diddy before focusing on their mother's picture on the television. Beyond a single scene in the video, the sight of Kim Porter's blank stare and perplexed expression was a silent allegation that revealed the full extent of Diddy's controlling scheme. Delilah's fingers firmly grasped Jesse's hand, perhaps supporting her sister from collapsing. Kim seemed almost unconscious, as though she had been dragged into a world that was not her own, after having been powerful and independent. Her role in these events was also called into doubt by her appearance in the Freakoff tape, which inspired a darker suspicion. Was Kim's 2018 death from pneumonia truly an accident, or was it the product of an intervention to keep her silent about Diddy's secrets?
Went down and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her.
Dottie's eyes were blazing red as he screamed, "Stop the video," and slammed the table and tipped back his chair. "My children are here. You can't do this." Jesse's repressed sobs, which were gentle but piercing, drowned out Dottie's uncontrollable outburst. With a flash of blood in her eyes, she leaped to her feet and pulled her twin sisters, who were shaking, from the courtroom. The eerie screams of Jesse and Delilah echoed from the corridor, causing the room to tremble. One juror bent. "This isn't just a trial. It's a tragedy," a reporter in the back row said silently to a colleague while shaking their head and covering their mouth with their palm. Delilah held onto Jesse in the cold courthouse hallway as though to soothe the unadulterated anguish that had just flared as they saw their mother on screen. Their hearts had been struck by her odd, blank eyes, which had destroyed their happy memories of Kim Porter, the lady who had always loved and protected them. Delilah reflected on the evenings when their mom, her quiet voice, soothed during life's storms as she sang lullabies. Jessica cried and muttered, "Why was Mom there?" The only answer to her inquiry was anguish and a developing suspicion of the father they had once admired. That Diddy, who had always professed to love them without conditions, would have enticed their mother into a dark world and perhaps played a part in her death was something neither of them could accept. It'd be Diddy's attorney that you willingly engaged in these freak-offs to be accepted into Mr. Combs's world. In response to Miss Ventura, Victor Langston, a tall man with salt and pepper hair and a rolling thunder voice, stood up. He fixed Cassie with his inquisitive eyes. "Although you have presented these incidents as though you were a victim with no agency at all, let's take a look at the bigger picture. You traveled the world, lived in fancy apartments, signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Entertainment, and went to extravagant parties." There was a moment of hesitation when Cassie saw an arrow. She took a deep breath, absorbing power from Alex's presence as their eyes briefly met. "He had power over everything, including my friends, profession, and ideas." "No," Cassie answered, her eyes piercing her voice. "I didn't choose. I was coerced. What I received wasn't a reward. It was the price I paid to survive. I would lose everything if I didn't agree with his demands, so I had no alternative." Her statement echoed like a proclamation, and several jurors nodded discreetly, with empathetic gazes. Did Miss Ventura ever collaborate with Miss Kim Porter or anybody else to perform these freak-offs at Mr. Combs' request? Were Miss Porter and you willing participants who relished the way of life Mr. Combs offered? Langston continued the question, his tone lowering as though he were attempting to entice Cassie into a trap, sending chills through the courtroom. The reference to Kim Porter, Dilla and Jesse's late mother, caused a sharp anguish that the Combs family was attempting to conceal. Cassie shook her head, her eyes flashing with pain. She responded, "No," in a shaky voice, "but firm. Kim was in prison, just like me. We weren't complicit. We were victims of the same system. He made us feel like there was no way out, as if Everything we had, our careers, our families, our reputations depended on pleasing him. Diddy remained seated, but his uneasiness was clear as her words pierced his nerves like a dull knife. As a finger tapped restlessly on the table, his eyes flitted to the empty chairs where his children had sat, as if seeking some tiny solace in their absence. The movie's inclusion of Kim Porter and Cassie's incriminating testimony not only tarnished Diddy's image but also struck at his greatest vulnerability, his affection for his children. They had to witness their mother in a lifeless, hollow state, as if she had been a victim of the world their father had built. Diddy has always claimed that his daughters, Dilla and Jessie, are the focus of his existence. Their presence at the trial at the precise time the video was made public brought the girls' anguish to light, as seen by their sobs and anxious exit from the courtroom. Shocked the public by raising questions about why Kim Porter's children appeared at such a sensitive moment. At the same time, when Dilla and Jessie fled in tears, there were whispers that Diddy was deliberately focusing on his weakness, his love for his daughters. Chance and Justin kept their cool and avoided following their sisters, instead focusing their cold gazes on Diddy. Many were left wondering if they truly believed in their father or if their tough exterior belied a long-standing cynicism and willingness to face the reality as a result of this conduct. According to media representations, the Combs family is a symbol of support, especially after the death of Kim Porter, the soul-binding Diddy, and his children, but Chance and Justin's attendance at the trial was more than just support. It was a front for hidden agendas that hinted at a clandestine power struggle within the family. The serene gaze of Chance and Justin, untouched by Kim Porter's ancestry, showed what loyalty or cunning scheme Chance had. After Kim passed away in 2018, Diddy's kid with Sarah Chapman, who wasn't Kim's child, grew up in pain and drifted alone without any fond memories of her mother. While kids clung to cherished memories, Chance was left feeling a cold sense of isolation. Chance experienced an unexplained ache that made her a shadow in their society as a result of media depictions of Diddy lavishing Kim's children with spoils. The oldest son of Justin Diddy and Misa Halton, who regarded the Combs family as a chessboard of power, developed himself into a cold, astute strategist with a steely resolve unbowed by sadness. Through ruthless trials and scandals that were concealed to preserve the family's reputation beneath his polished facade, Justin learned Diddy's game. He was molded by those scars into a master player, is always prepared to backtrack. Unlike Chance, Justin honed his abilities by observing the unspoken family rules rather than caving into pain. When he was a young guy, he saw Kim's children experience a mother's love that he had never had before, but instead of feeling envious, he realized that Diddy was a good parent. Loved by his children, Diddy pushed Justin in particular with challenging challenges and mysterious responsibilities. Although Justin's problems were supposedly concealed by Diddy in order to protect their reputation, those unsaid wounds made Justin a cunning strategist who was always looking for the ideal chance to modify the game's layout. On the day a damaging video was made public, why did Kim Porter's children, who had always complied with their father, defy his commands and show up? Rumor had claimed that Diddy had made it a point to keep his children safe from upsetting disclosures and to absolutely forbid any family members from going. But the arrival of the three daughters, who were seated in the front row with Janice and Justin, startled everyone. Despite their scars and objectives, they had secretly planned to confront Diddy. Justin viewed Chance in the months leading up to the trial as a source of uncertainty rather than a comforting brother. He said in a low, sharp voice, "Have you ever wondered who Dad really is?" In a private chat. For an extended period, Justin's astute intuition had discerned Chance's susceptibility, identifying in his sensitive sister a feeling of desertion that served as the launching pad for rebellion. He had stories to tell. Chance was reluctant to accept Justin's disclosures, but she was compelled to make late-night calls to Jessie and Delilah, the sisters she had always felt isolated from. Chance had never heard of Diddy's manipulation of others around him or of Kim Porter, their revered mother who might have been enmeshed in uncontrollable circumstances, but she was trembling as she pleaded, "We need to be together." Because of what he said, Chen started to doubt the father she looked up to, there for Dad, but also to understand the truth of what happened. Without mentioning the video or Justin's revelations, her sincerity persuaded her sisters, Jessie and Delilah, to go despite their reluctance because she believed it would benefit their father, even though they were not aware of it. Although Justin's true goal, power or reality, remained a mystery, chance, under Justin's guidance, had inadvertently become part of a larger plot. Behind the scenes, Justin's manipulations went beyond convincing chance. Rumors circulated that he made arrangements for Samantha Klein, Cassie Venter's lawyer, to receive the 2018 White Party archive video. The footage, which shows Kim Porter in a vulnerable state at a white party, was not found by chance. According to credible sources, Justin used his network of allies to get the footage to Cassie, making it an important piece of evidence. Nevertheless, he proceeded cautiously, fully aware of Diddy's loyal inner circle, who were willing to defend him at all costs to protect Cassie and her husband, Alex Fine. He texted a friend using an encrypted app, and he is the only one who can tell the truth. As the trial went on, the room was filled with anxiety as Cassie took the stand, recalling years of Diddy's control, threats, and abuse that left her afraid that he wanted her all to himself. Her voice was low but sharp, captivating the jurors, and his tone was cold but determined if the allegations were true. Jessie and Delilah were sitting in the front row, and Chance tried to hide their uneasiness, which was split between her loyalty to her father and the truth that Justin had revealed. Jessie and Delilah gazed at their father in ignorance. When the White Party archive rolled, the screen displayed a beach house with neon lights flickering and agitated people, including their mother, Kim Porter. They watched Chance and Justin, sensing their knowledge, but her steely face met her father's gaze, her unflinching eyes demanding answers. Delilah and Jessie, frozen in shock, fled sobbing, their cries reverberating like a blade through the hall. Diddy jumped up, roaring to stop the video, his eyes blazing. Justin's arms were crossed as he stood still, undaunted by Diddy's, though the public was ablaze with rumors, and the hashtags #KimPorterTruth and #DiddySecrets trended, praising Cassie's bravery and breaking the silence. Kim Porter's video raised questions about why Chance and Justin did not insure Kim's children. He felt anger and a sickening sense of satisfaction when his father's empire fell because of exposed lies, but a deep-seated pain remained where a sliver of affection for the father he had once admired still flickered, separating him from justice, and the pain of betraying ex's blood. The presence of their sister, the trial of Diddy, transcends a mere legal battle. It serves as a stark warning about power manipulation and the secrets lurking beneath the glamour of the entertainment world. According to one comment on X, Justin used Chance's emotional wounds to get revenge on Diddy because he wants truth and CRAV's power. Indeed, he ruled supreme, using people like Cassie and Kim Porter as tools of his desire, as evidenced by Cassie Ventura's testimony in the Freakout video. Diddy's complete control over everyone around him was symbolized by the oppressive atmosphere of freak-offs, which were more than just parties. Diddy's daughters Chance, Jessie, and Delilah were confronted with the horrifying thought that their mother had been enticed into a dark underworld by the father they had previously looked up to when Kim Porter's image surfaced in the video. Chance and Justin's calm manner begged the question of whether they truly trusted their own skills, but Delilah and Jessie's heartbreaking tears as they exited the courtroom were a testament to the pain these revelations had caused. Father? Or are they concealing personal agendas while the trial goes on and the public awaits comprehensive answers? Was it evidence of a well-organized criminal organization, or were the freak-offs merely a part of a lavish lifestyle? What's more, was Kim Porter's death a genuine accident, or did he attempt to conceal these unresolved issues? Cast a long shadow, preventing the world from learning the truth about the man who was once acclaimed as a cultural icon.